stop number 4 if you like that. That's the 4th structure though, 1920. 3 previous St. Paul's were destroyed. 2 hurricanes and that great fire of 1886 I told you about destroyed 3 previous churches. So far, church for millions. Stop number 4 coming up here on the right is good for the oldest house museum, St. Paul Stained Glass, or Jimmy Bucket's original margarita. Those a block ahead. They're opening up in 15 minutes if you want a cheeseburger in paradise. Across the street, he used to sing a lot at his new restaurant. I ran across the street, my dishwasher's apron covered with taco and burrito. Shook hands with Jimmy Bucket. That was the first time I met him. Gringo's Cantina, long gone. But if you're looking for a cheeseburger in paradise, or if you want to change your attitude with your newfound latitude, this is where you do it, right here at Jimmy Bucket's original Margaritaville. Jimmy will let it out in about 10 minutes. Cheeseburgers in paradise. I've had Jimmy a bunch of times. I'll show you. Coming up on the left, the most beautiful Walgreens in the world. Used to be the Strand Theater, 1934. Why is it such a beautiful Walgreens? If you can see upstairs there, that's called Rococo architecture. Rococo architecture is out of Havana. The Strand Theater, 1930. It was still a theater in the 80s. A really cool theater, so I'm pretty sad it's gone. And there's the Green Parrot. Best live music on the island. If you're here tonight, this is where you want to be for live music. So like I said, 2,209 miles to Fort Kent, Maine, to the northern end of Highway 1, America's first highway. It's also known as White Ridge. One of the original settlers. In fact, most of our streets. Okay, someone told me they were going to work. They put bacon in it. So Bloody Mary's at the Ram's Head. You got the Hemingway House a block up on the left. And the Key West Lighthouse, 88 steps to the top, is a block up on the right. So check out the Lighthouse, Hemingway's house, and Bloody Mary's. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Now be careful. Take 8 minutes right here until about 4:15 will be the last. 4:45 will be the last one coming by here. Be careful, ma'am. Take your time. Now hold on. It was built in 1870 for Asa Tift. Asa Tift was a famous wrecking master here in Key West. See coming up on the left here, this big brick wall. Hemingway loved Key West. He also loved his privacy. Behind the wall, the Hemingway house. 1870 gave it to the Hemingways as a wedding gift. Guess how much Uncle Gus paid for it in 1931? $8,000. $8,000 for the Hemingway house. Ernest wrote a dozen of his famous novels while he lived right here. Ernest and Pauline. You can see past the bus. That's where the southernmost point is, so we'll be up there. See you there. We'll be up there in about an hour. 1825, that's where the lighthouse was. The Great Havana Hurricane in 1846 destroyed it, washed it out to sea, so they built a new one back here in 1847. When I turn left, if you're on this side of the trolley, look over your left shoulder. You'll see the postcard view of the lighthouse. It's really the only view. 88 steps to the top, and a bunch of people up there today. That's our 700 feet above sea level. And then on the left, shotgun houses. They call them shotgun because out on Smathers Beach, we actually had missiles on the island. That's what Kennedy was here for, inspecting those missiles. So a few presidential streets. I normally get caught at this light every time, and there's not a lot to point at here, so I'm going to talk about the weather. Downtown, but up here, if we ever get through the lights, what do you know? Oldest Roman Catholic parish, St. Mary's Basilica, Star of the Sea. 1847 downtown, but everything behind this wall up here is 1905. You got the school, the convent, the church, and the basilica. It's coming. Largest private property in Key West, St. Mary's. One of the nuns, Sister Louise Gabrielle, after a major hurricane killed a lot of her parishioners, she built a prayer grotto to protect us against future hurricanes. I'll show it to you. It's up here behind this next grass field, the stone grotto. It was 1922 when Sister Louise Gabrielle, after that hurricane, built this prayer grotto. One stone at a time, she built it here, right there. right here, starting right here, these next few, almost 200 years old. Now they do refurbish them periodically, but by law, just like the Strand Theater, you almost 100 years ago. Now it's called Baby Park. People say, why they call it Baby Park, Rob? There's no bay. Certainly no view. This is where Key West ended, and this light that was the beginning. This light back is called Houseboat. That was Charter Boat Road. This is Houseboat Road. It's an expensive place to live in Key West. Coming up right here, see that account right here? The only way in and out of here is if I picture a sweet bridge. Swinging over the Then in 1938, after the rail was gone at 35, 1938 though, they took the bridge tenders home. I'll show it to you. They turned it into the Key West Yacht Club. Right here. Here we go. We were jumping back then though. Big deal. We drink from garden hoses and survive. Road bikes without helmets in the road. Now, Cheryl, it's called a conch. This is a conch shell. If you're born in Key West, you're known as a conch. I'm also a conch. Even though I was born in South Miami, I grew up from day one in 6 weeks. You're not a real conch. I'm the only real conch in the family. Guess where the real conch lives today? Jimmy bought the Metro Jet. Show you one of his houses. That yellow mustard-colored house on the corner was Jimmy's for a while. They call that the Gold Coast because it's so expensive to live on the Golden Canal in Key West.
Another Civil War fort. That is called Fort Jefferson. Fort Jefferson is the largest masonry structure in the Western Hemisphere. It is where Dr. Samuel Mudd was. A few years ago, the headline said that they had approved money. We were going to build a tunnel from Key West to Cuba, and it was going to be called the Tuba. People read it and believe it. It's true. They also had a thing that someone invented a way. Flagler took his wealth and he began building resorts like the one. Oh, there's an iguana right there on the roof. He began building resorts like this one. The first one was St. Augustine, Florida. Then he builds them from St. Augustine to Miami, and he built what's known as the Florida East Coast Railway. In 1896, Mr. Flagler is not only wealthy beyond our imaginations, he's well connected. I'm going to wrap that story up for you in a moment. Stop. Mr. Flagler invested nearly $50 million in his own personal wealth, which is a staggering sum of money in today's dollars. Employee Americans that were laid off. One of them was called the CCC, the other was called the WPA. Under the WPA, they decided Key West would be a great place for tourism. They started the first journey down the overseas highway to Key West, announcing the U.S. Navy would open a summer space area. Come stop 11, ladies and gentlemen. A block and a half in front of any damage or loss of life. One of the very first Key West weather stations is over on your right, hanging from the tree. See the coconut? Yeah, that's a Key West weather station. He also opened the very first trolley system in Key West. Didn't work out so well. Southern end of the advertisement, this is the upper end of Duval Street. This is the 1300 block. This is the quiet end. The other end is where you'll hear live music practically all day and all night. Down here, you're going to find art galleries, clothing boutiques, and fine restaurants. In the 1800s, a lot of Cubans had migrated here because of political unrest in Cuba. For a while, they referred to Key West as Little Havana. One of those men was a man named Jose Marti, who really wanted to encourage his fellow countrymen that the time had come for them to stand up to Spain and fight for their independence. He gave many speeches. One of the final speeches he ever gave prior to the Spanish-American War, he gave it from this balcony above the entrance to Monte Da. Here, I can't believe it. I used to live in Maryland. I would go to Maple Grove, Pennsylvania to the drag race. Very cool stuff. I read in the paper they're going to they got their wigs, makeup, dresses, and heels that most people couldn't walk in. The next thing I hear, they line up on Duval Street, the firing of a start done, and that was my first introduction to a Key West drag race. It's one of the funniest